You are listening to The Joyce Aldrich Show at CHAJ 1610 AM. La voz de la comunidad, Toronto.
5 minutes and 21 seconds, way back when. And that's because it was the Beatles who produced that song. And whatever the Beatles wanted, the Beatles got. And that we have to thank them because they gave us the leeway to play a lot of long songs that were over 3 minutes and 30 seconds. And tonight on the Victoria Day long weekend here at the Joyce Aldrich Show, I plan to play a lot of long songs that I don't usually get to play when I have a guest because we're talking and stuff. But we're going to play some long songs and some short songs. And of course, Victoria Day weekend is celebrating a whole lot of Majesty's birthdays over the years, but really for so many it's the first day of summer. Unofficially, people are at the garden centers opening their cottages, their campers, they're out having fun. The barbecues are putting, people got the burgers on, and you're having a wonderful time. And tonight we're going to have some fireworks, and tomorrow night, so please stay safe. Safe. Fireworks, that's explosive, man. Okay. I want to blow yourself up. Stay well away from them for the kiddies and everything. So, okay, so I'm going to play another long song. We will have some shorter songs too. I have to sort of wedge those into the long songs so we can fill our time in. I got Monica Chapman with I Love a Piano. So here's Monica Chapman.
As a child, I ran wild when a band played. How I ran to that man when his hands swayed. Clarinets were my pets, and the slide trombone I thought was simply divine. But today, when they play, I could hiss them. Every bar is a jar to my system, but there's one musical instrument that I call mine. I love a piano, I love a piano, I love to hear somebody play upon a piano, a grand piano. It simply carries me away. I know a fine way to treat a Steinway. I love to run my fingers o'er the keys, the ivories, and with the tetrazine starts to warble, I grow cold as an old piece of marble. I allude to the crude little party singer who don't know when to pause. At her best, I detest the soprano, but I run to the one at the piano. I always love the accompaniment, and that's because I love a piano. I love a piano. I love to hear somebody play upon a piano, a grand piano. It simply carries me away. I know a fine way to treat a Steinway. I love to run my fingers o'er the keys, the ivories, and with the pedal I love to meddle when Paderewski comes my way. To be delighted if I'm invited to hear that long-haired genius play. So you can keep your fiddle and your bow. Give me a P-I-A-N-O. Oh, oh, I love to stop right beside an upright or a high-toned baby grand or a high-toned baby grand.
And that was Monica Chapman, and her song is a whole 5 minutes and 36 seconds as opposed to 5:21 for Hey Jude. He beat that out. And who doesn't want to hear all that wonderful music? I sure do. Listen, speaking of royals, Princess Anne is here in Canada, New Brunswick, to celebrate the 8th Canadian Hussars' 175th year history. And she said the regiment and its soldiers have provided continuous service to the province of New Brunswick and Canada for the last 175 years. And by anybody's standards, that's no mean feat. Yes, they are also known as the Princess Louisas, and they've been a lot of First World War, Second World War, Boer War. You know, they were they did back to the American Revolution when the soldiers had a reputation for military excellence and still do. So as always, you're going to have an eclectic mix of music here on CHHA 1610 AM, especially at the Joyce Aldrich Show, because when I program music, I just program it from my heart and according to what I want. It's sort of the occasion, and this is Victoria Day weekend, so you're going to get a little bit of history. You're going to get a little bit of a lot of fun. You're going to get some long songs, as I mentioned, because it is the long weekend, and you don't want to hear me talking all the time. But right now I got about a minute, so I'm going to tell you a few little things. Not everybody in Canada has a statutory holiday for Victoria Day. The Maritime provinces do not, for instance. And of course, Quebec has its own day. They have they see themselves kind of like a nation. It's a different thing. Quebec. I am French Canadian by go back to 1600s. I get my people, but so they have another commemoration today. But all the other provinces are indeed having a statutory holiday for Queen Victoria's birthday, which is also the birthday of all kinds of majesties throughout history. So I don't know if King Charles is going to adopt it or not, but why not? It's a wonderful way to start off a beautiful time of year, which is coming up to summer. Okay, we're going to go to break. We'll come back with some Don Natterak, another long song, 7 minutes and 7 seconds. That's Senor Greg Groove coming up right after this.
CHHA 1610 AM. More voices 24 hours through. Programming continues.
Whoa, senor, great groove. And that's Don Nadarak, and he's a Ukrainian boy from Saskatchewan, and he has some pretty crazy Latin grooves. That's his composition. And, you know, we have the Ukrainians here in Canada. We have a lot to thank them for. Between 1891 and 1914, 250,000 Ukrainian immigrants arrived on the Canadian prairies. They left difficult conditions in their homelands to chase the promises of Clifford Sifton, the Minister of the Interior at the time, in the government of Sir Wilfrid Laurier. And he offered cheap land, excellent growing conditions, but they were terrible living conditions. People really, really struggled and had hard lives, you know. But look what there is. Look at our prairies. Isn't that beautiful? We thank the Ukrainians for that. And so we're going to go to a song called Swing Daddy, Catherine M. Thompson. I love this song. Her daddy was a bass player out in Hamilton and used to play the dance halls and stuff like that. So here's Swing Daddy, another Canadian story.
Swing Daddy, swing, swing Daddy, swing Daddy, swing. Daddy was a bassman in a swing band in those dirty 30s, dark Depression days. They played dance halls in Hamilton, Muskoka dance pavilions. He played that up right at the old Palais. Swing Daddy, swing. His bass rode high up on the band car rooftop. Late one night the wind was blowing fierce. It threw his case into the ditch, smashed that fiddle all to bits, and Daddy waved goodbye to his career. Swing Daddy, swing. The 30s taught Daddy's lot. Make good with what you got. You can do what you have to do to see it through. If you swing Daddy, swing, swing Daddy, swing, thump that rhythm, dance all night and day. Swing Daddy, swing, swing Daddy, swing Daddy, swing, swing Daddy, swing, play that bass and chase those blues away. So Daddy took the reins up on a bread truck, delivered to the store that Mama ran. She'd been out dancing with her pals, heard him swing those big dance halls. He bought a book of matches, love began. Then Daddy drove the railway locomotives all up and down the New York Central line. While Mama cooked and Mama sewed, they built up a loving home, half a dozen children strong and fine. Swing Daddy, swing. The 30s taught Daddy's lot. Make good with what you got. You can do what you have to do to see it through. If you swing Daddy, swing, swing Daddy, swing, thump that rhythm, dance all night and day. Swing, swing Daddy, swing Daddy, swing, swing Daddy, swing, play that bass and chase those blues away. Well, in the end, he was a labor leader when he was 62 at a railroad union due. They let him sit in for a set. Daddy hadn't lost it yet. He played that bass the way he used to do. Well, now you've heard the story of our family, and every single word of it is true. Daddy was a bassman playing in a swing band, and Daddy was so glad Mama swung with you. Hey, 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 swing Daddy, swing, swing Mama, swing, thump that rhythm, dance all night and day. Swing, swing Daddy, swing Daddy, swing, swing Mama, swing, play that bass and chase those blues away. Play that bass, chase those blues, play that bass and chase those blues away. Swing Daddy, swing, swing Daddy. daddy, swing daddy, swing, swing daddy, swing daddy, swing, swing daddy, swing, swing daddy, swing.
That's Swing Daddy, and we're going to come back after break with Canadian Railroad Trilogy with Swinging Some Hammers to Build Our National Railway right after this.
From Toronto, Canada, CHHA 1610 AM, the voice of our community, because we are a part of your daily life.
You are listening to The Joyce Aldrich Show at CHHA 1610 AM, la voz de la comunidad, Toronto.
There was a time in this fair land when the railroad did not run. Then the wild, majestic mountains stood alone against the sun. Long before the white man and long before the wheel. When the green, dark forest was too silent to be real. But time has no beginnings and the history has no bounds. As to this verdant country they came from all around. They sailed upon her waterways and they walked the forest tall. Built the mines, mills, and the factories for the good of us all. And when the young man's fancy was turning to the spring, the railroad men grew restless for to hear the hammers ring. Their minds were overflowing with the visions of their day, and many a fortune lost and won, and many a debt to pay. For they looked in the future, and what did they see? The sun iron road running from the sea to the sea, bringing the goods to a young growing land, all up from the seaports and into their hands. Look away, said they, across this mighty land, from the eastern shore to the western strand, bringing the workers and bring up the rails. We gotta lay down the tracks and tear up the trails. Open their heart, let the lifeblood flow. Gotta get on our way, 'cause we're moving too slow. Bring in the workers and bring up the rails. We're gonna lay down the tracks and tear up the trails. Open their heart, let the lifeblood flow. Gotta get on our way, 'cause we're moving too slow. Get on our way, 'cause we're moving too slow. Behind the blue Rockies, the sun is declining. The stars, they come stealing at the close of the day. Across the wide prairie, our loved ones lie sleeping. Beyond the dark oceans, in a place far away, we are the navvies who work upon the railway, swinging our hammers in the bright blazing sun, living on stew and drinking bad whiskey, bending our backs till the long days are done. We are the navvies who work upon the railway, swinging our hammers in the bright blazing sun, laying down track and building the bridges, bending our backs till the railroad is done. So over the mountains and over the plains, into the muskeg and into the rain, up the St. Lawrence all the way to Gaspé, swinging our hammers and drawing our pay, laying them in and tying them down, away to the bunkhouse and into the town. $1 a day and a place for my head, a drink to the living, a toast to the dead. Oh, the song of the future has been sung. All the battles have been won. On the mountain tops we stand. All the world at our command. We have opened up the soil with our teardrops and our toil. Oh, there was a time in this fair land when the railroad did not run, when the wild, majestic mountains stood alone against the sun. Long before the white man and long before the wheel, when the green dark forest was too silent to be real, when the green dark forest was too silent to be real, and many are the dead men too silent to be real.
The Canadian Railroad Trilogy. Iconic for Canada, and I'm going to play some more music that's iconic for Canada as well, because we can't forget about our early settlers, of course, and of course the people who are the Indigenous First Nations people here in on this continent, who were here when Columbus sailed here, and the conquistadores, whoever, you know. We have to also, we will definitely be playing some music for them in the next, to honor in the next segment. But I was just going to say, you know, Canada is still an incredible place for industry and courage to produce. My brother, actually, I was visiting my brother in Alberta last July, and we played the Canadian Railroad Trilogy as we're coming out of Canmore and the majestic mountains and the beautiful Alberta scenery. And I was thinking about my brother is in clean technology. He's got a clean technology company doing some amazing thing. He has actually reduced emissions by 1 million tons with his enclosed combustors, and that's all I'll say. I will not do any more advertising there, but there are people doing some very courageous and incredible work in Alberta and all across Canada. Let that continue. So we're going to play the next song, which is Early Days, and this is a great tune, and you'll enjoy it.
From the shores of troubled nations, they came for a better life, fleeing poverty and hunger, and sometimes religious strife, to a land wild and free. Their names were emblazed on the maps of this country in the early days. Some left family and comfort to come where there was none. There was work enough for all. There was so much to be done. There was equal opportunity, so most men would say. Life was hard for everyone in the early days. The early days, when families fished the sea and worked the land. the early days when hope for better times was all they had. The early days when work was done by many willing hands. In the early days. Oh, the seas were rough, sailing on a ship to a distant shore. Packed like cargo down below, life moves slow when the earth turns slow. The great forests and built the dams. They dreamt of a future where we now stand, a national inheritance to each of us they gave. Here's to those who struggled in the early days. The early days when families fished the sea and worked the land. The early days when hope for better times was all they had. The early days when work was done by many willing hands. In the early days.
Same latitude as Rome. That's Peter Boyer on acoustic guitar and vocals, Anarchy McCabe on percussion and vocals, with J.K. Gully on guitar and mandolin, and Besnick Yaziri on violin. And you can go to samelatitudeasrome.com for a lot of really great music there. And I encourage people to, of course, look up these people and all these wonderful musicians and buy their music, download it, whatever, get it, because that's important. I'm going to play Cœur de Pirate, and this is called Printemps, and we have to have a little bit of a French flavor. My background is also French-Canadian. I tell you, I'm a Heinz 57. As many people are here in Canada, and I welcome everybody who is a newcomer here, because you're adding to our rich fabric, which is it is multicultural. We are a tapestry rather than separate little kingdoms. We are all together, and our beautiful threads are making a beautiful, beautiful country. And I do acknowledge that we are sitting on treaty land, so I do know that. But at the same time, let's do the best we can with it, okay, and honor it. And here is Printemps from Cœur de Pirate.
Et en 2003, dans un jour en été, sous mes couches de mascara, je t'avais remarqué. Et tant d'années plus tard, je t'ai vu et j'ai pensé aller à ta rencontre, voir si tu as du temps à m'accorder. Mais toi tu ne sais pas que je t'aurais tout donné le jour où dans tes lunettes mon regard s'est plongé. Et toi tu ne sais pas que je voudrais bien de toi. C'est bien triste, ce sera dans cette chanson seulement. Les branches tombent sur le sol et rien ne peut changer. Dans mes rêves préconçus, je me suis laissé aller, mais mon désir incertain reste un bien trop lourd secret. Les branches restent bien au sol et je me tairai à jamais. Mais toi tu ne sais pas que je t'aurais tout donné le jour où dans tes chanson seulement. Les branches restent bien au sol, les danseuses sont mariées. Après des jours hésitants, je ne peux plus t'éviter. Et ce cri trop interne ne veut vraiment pas cesser. Les branches restent sur le sol et je t'ai enfin trouvé. Mais toi tu ne sais pas que je t'aurais tout donné le jour où dans tes lunettes mon regard s'est plongé. Et toi tu ne sais pas que je voudrais bien de toi. C'est bien triste, ce sera dans cette chanson seulement.
And that's Cœur de Pirate with Printemps. And as I mentioned before, Quebec is not celebrating Victoria Day. They are celebrating instead Adam Dollard des Ormeaux. And that's initiated in the 1920s to coincide with Victoria Day. And the provincial legislation officially in 2003 created National Patriots Day on the same date. So now it's National Patriots Day, originally Adam Dollard des Ormeaux. Now, when coming back from break, we're going to be listening to DM La Fortune, and she is indigenous. She does not take life lying down. She's a fighter, a champion, an activist and a believer in guardian angels, and she's a singer-songwriter. She's a lawyer. She's been everything from a cab driver to actor, photographer, near politician, constitutional appellate lawyer, as I said, and has provided a rich source for her powerful music. So we're going to hear one of her pieces, Where Are All the Children? And certainly with everything that's happened here in Canada with the residential schools, we need to play this music. We'll be back right after this.
CHHA 1610 AM, the first and only Hispanic radio station in Canada from Toronto to the world.
Many miles from home we are taught in your fine school. History books, a weapon, not a tool. In many voices we try to understand what has come upon this land. Many good intentioned Christians tell us, children, you must listen while they kill us with the kindness in God's name. Starry night in a Central American town. Loved ones pray their loved ones won't be found. While in the deepest part of a silent night, shots ring out in the dark. The missing ones will not return. Their killers never caught. There's a caption, guerrillas killed in action, but they were children, they were only children, and how the mothers cried. On a dusty road by an olive grove they rest, young women with babies at their breasts. Upon the souls who went before them, who lay beneath the earth, an earth made rich with bloodshed, bloodshed before their birth. There's a news flash, more victims in the Holy Land. But they were children, they were only children, and how their mothers cried. And it goes on and neighbors pushed and proud congratulations. And while the victimized are criminalized, are laughed at and are lied to, more plans are laid by the death machine. Will these madmen never tire? Oh, they kneel and they pray to a materialist savior. And they were children, once they were children. What makes their mothers cry?
Children, that's DM La Fortune, and what a powerful song. And we're going to go to another powerful artist, and that would be Buffy St. Marie. And she was born here in Canada, a Cree Nation, and you know, she's living in Hawaii now, which is wonderful. Hey, listen, the power of the blood is in the blood, right? It's not where you're living, but it's where you live. So to speak. And anyway, I'm going to end with a really, this particular segment. I'll be going to this song soon. It's called Star Walker. I love this song. It's something that just really stirs the blood and gets you. It's just so magical. I love it. And of course, there are a lot of wonderful songs that she's written. But you know, Buffy St. Marie didn't get a whole lot of airplay back in the day when she started. She wanted to be a teacher, you know. And she ended up being a singer-songwriter and noticing a whole lot of stuff that was going on, and writing things like Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee, and, you know, a lot of songs like that. So songs that were protest songs, and, yeah, she was on the FBI lists and everything. Yeah, she had a hard time trying to come out and do her work. But now, you know, we are playing her music. She's in concert. She's still going strong, and thank goodness for that. And if you ever get a chance to see her in concert here in Toronto, do go. If she's in Ottawa, Montreal, wherever, she is an amazing performer. So here we are with Star Walker. He's a friend of mine.
Star Walker, he's a friend of mine.
Oh, it's so beautiful. You know, I know when I'm at home playing this, I'm going, hey, it just gets everything moving, your spirit soaring. So, yeah, you got to do that, you know, play it loud, play it loud, play it proud.
You are listening to The Joyce Aldrich Show at CHHJ 1610 AM, La Voz de la Comunidad, Toronto.